Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Hub podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon. We're excited to have you join us for this week's topic. Famous poltergeist cases, kicking off another 3-part series.
There you go. Are you prepared to confront the unexplained? If not, you should prepare yourself, because we're about to journey beyond the hub and into the paranormal world.
Welcome to the Columbus Poltergeist Incident, Episode 1, where we'll be discussing Tina Resch. I don't know. I'm going to butcher this one. And the chilling events that unfolded in her home. Grab yourself a drink, relax, and let's unravel this mystery together.
First off, we want to welcome everyone who has joined us from movies, music, and monsters. Both of us are so grateful for from the shout out that my stepfather Dan did for us. So I really want to thank you all for being here.
Welcome, everybody who is brand new to our channel. We hope you enjoy the content.
Yeah. So Tina Resch.
I might have messed you up on that.
It's like I thought I had it before. I think it's Resch. She was born on October 23rd, 1969. At 10 months old, she was abandoned in a hospital.
Man, that's rough. She was adopted 2 years later by John and Joan Resch, Columbus residents who had raised many foster children.
Now, the Resches were very strict people, often using corporal punishment to control the children in their care.
Joan described Tina as an unruly child and different from other children from an early age.
Tina was humiliated by teachers, children, and at 4 separate schools. She decided that she was going to withdraw from 4th grade.
But despite the challenges she faced, she excelled at scouting and found solace at church.
However, at home, Tina felt ignored, especially after the loss of her best friend in a tragic accident.
She became desperate to find her birth mother, hoping for a loving reunion, but her adoptive parents refused to reveal her birth certificate.
That's messed up.
That is messed up. There's probably ways to go around and get it still. It's your birth certificate, but...
She was young, though. I mean, do you have many...
True. At that point, you don't really have much you can do. It's not like you can... When you're 18, maybe you can request a copy of it. You might have to pay for it, but you can get it. But yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. That's a good point. It's rough.
It's rough. I mean... So now we're going to talk about some of the phenomena that happened there. Disturbances in the Resch family home were reported by William Roll, a parapsychologist, and Mark Harden, who was a local journalist.
Mark Harden or Mike Harden?
Mike Harden.
Mike Harden. It all started after an argument between Tina and Joan on March 1st, 1984.
Tina refused corporal punishment and defended herself with a knife.
And strange occurrences followed, with the clock racing, radio blaring music, and appliances turning on and off all on their own.
I mean, Joan even saw a dark shadow in the living room, adding to an increasingly haunting atmosphere.
And then the TV and lights began flickering, the dryer door slammed shut, faucets even turned on seemingly by themselves.
And frankly, Joan became suspicious of Tina and gathered the whole family in the living room for safety.
The clock's minute hand even spun wildly, and electrical items ran despite being unplugged. That's crazy.
Craig witnessed furniture moving and saw the dark shadow himself, escalating the fear.
And then police were eventually called. An officer is reported to have even drawn his gun on a flying pan, not a frying pan, maybe a flying frying pan, but it was a flying pan. Quite a surreal sight indeed.
That's crazy. Both family and visitors witnessed these unexplained phenomena.
Initially, John blamed Tina until incidents occurred while she was away, which of course, cast doubt on her involvement.
Despite attempts, even a Mormon exorcism failed to alleviate the disturbances.
Objects started striking Tina, causing her pain, while she was also experiencing headaches and stomach aches that seemed to be related to the phenomena.
What do you think about that?
Strange. I mean, nothing but strange. There's a movie I saw when I was a kid I can't remember the name of it, but it sounds very familiar to this story. I think it's like an orphan girl, but in a strict environment, being raised with this like very like masculine female lady with her hair in a bun. Like,
I don't know if I know what you're talking about. I can't
remember the name.
Orphan Annie.
No, not that. That's animal crackers in my soup.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure, at least. Matilda? Is it Matilda?
Yeah, it is.
Is it Matilda? Yeah. And she has like psychic powers.
Psychic, yeah.
That's what this reminds me of.
Okay.
But I don't remember the details of that movie, the Matilda movie. I just remember I think she like threw the like butch lady that was towering over her all the time. Had like,
she was the principal, like of the school.
Principal. That's what it was. And she had like a really long braided ponytail, and she grabbed her by it and swung her around. I just remember that.
She made that kid eat the cake. Remember
yeah. I don't really remember much, but that I think there was some sort of telekinetic psychic powers thing in that movie that this just reminds me of. That's all. Yeah. I don't really have much else to say at this point.
But this is when media attention was first noticed here, or would it gain notice? On March 5th, 4 days after the onset of disturbances, John Resch asked a family friend, the reporter Mike Harden, if he knew of an expert who could help.
Having observed the phenomena himself, Harden asked photographer Fred Shannon to try to capture them on film.
Now, this proved pretty difficult, as although Shannon witnessed phenomena himself, he couldn't capture anything when he aimed the camera at it.
Likely story. Eventually, by aiming the camera surreptitiously and pretending his attention was elsewhere, he captured 2 shots of a phone apparently flying through the air.
Harden's story and Shannon's 2 pictures were published on the Columbus Dispatch on March 6th. They were also republished by papers around the country, and that's where it became internationally recognized. We have those 2 photos for you right now. Just stand by while I pull them up. Okay,
yeah,
so one second. Let me get the...
That's definitely weird.
All right. So this is her. This is supposedly the phone moving. And if we can... Okay, so now here's the next picture.
I can see where skepticism comes in here, though, because they could have easily just rapidly taken pictures back to back and then chosen one of the frames that it appears to have been flying. But you do see the cord has a little bit of like blur to it, which indicates motion.
But is the way her hands are positioned, do you think that's indicative of just her, like, in that moment she just picked up the phone and was like, because I feel like if you're transitioning to that movement, she's facing that way, so it's like she's like this and like she's going with the motion of the phone. I think it would be a lot more believable if her hands were faced the other way. I mean, or maybe who knows what happens, because it happens in a split second.
Yeah, but she's just going abracadabra. That's what she's doing.
Or maybe because it was moving from that way, that's why she went like this to try to defend herself from it. But maybe not. Maybe not.
It looks like she's shocked, like she did not expect it to happen. Yeah. So does this one. Yeah. The lady on the side of the picture.
This is Joan, I believe.
Joan. Yeah, she doesn't look too shocked. She just like, oh yeah, this is normal.
I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know. But I can understand why there's skepticism around those 2 pictures particularly. Anyway, carrying on. The family stayed in a motel for 3 days, and the disturbances recommenced the moment they returned home, which was now attended by reporters and television crews.
On March 8th, a press conference was held for 40 media representatives. However, there was no phenomena for them to observe.
And after 8 hours, Jones said to Tina, "Something has got to happen." Drew Hadwell of WTVN TV in Columbus had inadvertently left his camera rolling, and it tumbled to the floor. And when he watched the footage later, it showed Tina, having ascertained that no one was watching her, yank a lamp to the floor.
Now, for the media, this changed things. It changed it to a story of fraud.
Yeah.
We have that video. I was able to find it. Let me just, okay.
Oof.
That's going to be loud. So we got here.
Watch again, this time in slow motion. This is not the first time the camera recorded this kind of action. Similar movements occurred earlier. Again in slow motion, we see Tina's hand hit the lampshade. I'm Drew Hadwell.
Thank you, Drew. Back to you, Nick.
I'm Drew Hadwell.
I don't know. That though, it's pretty clear she, moved that stuff. But I do think that it's possible that those are involuntary movements, because she did look startled.
It was also after 8 hours. You got to think that you're witnessing all this activity. It happens every day, and then when people finally show up, nothing happens.
Yeah.
How would that make you feel? Like, that would kind of like make you think that you're crazy. But even though she kind of, had all this stuff going on, now it's not going to show itself. So she had to do something.
Maybe that's how she felt. And
then it turned into that one instance of her faking that, or two instances rather, that where it decided to commit the whole thing as a fraud.
Right. And that doesn't serve to help her case at all. If she was worried about being made to look like she's crazy, why would she fake it? I mean, sure, maybe she thought she can get away with it. But now that there's proof that supports the skeptics of these claims, then it just hurt her more, honestly. But the way her hand moved looked like somebody might have like a twitch or a tic or Tourette's or something.
Yeah.
In the first one, it didn't look like it was. No, the second one. Sorry, the first one looked a little bit like it was intentionally.
Yeah.
The second one looked like her hand just so happened to be here, and it might have twitched, and she got scared. But they both could be completely intentional. She's doing it to try to gain attention. So I don't really know on that one.
I mean, Hardin sought expert help from Duke University's parapsychology laboratory, which put him in touch with William Roll, the director of the Psychical Research Foundation.
Roll was an experienced investigator of poltergeist-type phenomena, for which he had coined the term recurring spontaneous psychokinesis, otherwise labeled RSPK, indicating that the person at the center of the disturbance was the unconscious cause of it, as opposed to a noisy ghost or spirit.
Say that 10 times fast.
RSPK?
No, the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, no. No, I'd rather not.
He suggested that Tina be examined by a neurologist and agreed to visit the home with an assistant trained in clinical psychology, Kelly Powers.
Not Austin Powers. He's got the mojo, baby. The phenomena initially observed by Roll had a possible normal explanation. Generally, an action on Tina's part, although she herself apparently believed the objects were moving unaided.
I mean, for her part, Powers witnessed occurrences for which Tina could not have been responsible.
Roll arranged to take Tina for testing at parapsychological centers in North Carolina, And while making the arrangements, he witnessed the screeching sound emitted by the Resch's telephone that had become typical since the phenomena had started.
And now on March 14th, Roll witnessed motion by an object, a teacup, while neither Tina nor anyone else was even close enough to move it. In 52 minutes, he recorded 15 movements of objects and 5 unexplainable sounds. 6 objects had been moved while Roll had been watching Tina and was certain she was not responsible. He even handled 3 of the objects beforehand, like checking for like if they were trick devices or something like that.
Yeah, that's rolling out all possible ways you can think of that things could be staged, at least. Like they were doing their due diligence, you could say.
And they found stuff, they found proof. They recorded it.
Yeah.
Nowhere can I find these recordings. But the only one I found was the lamp one. But there was an Unsolved Mysteries episode that goes into a lot more detail on this as well. But anything else?
No, I'll carry on. So Roll had tested Tina for psychokinetic ability, observing that she rolled doubles at a rate well above chance. I think she's just extremely lucky, but...
However, in a formal test carried out by Richard Broughton at the Institute for Parapsychology on March 29th, she scored no better than chance. And she even broke her leg in an accident and had to be taken home.
Doesn't sound lucky to me. In a second set of tests in October, Tina was first hypnotized and objects were observed to take flight. One traveled about 40 feet and some even rounded corners.
What?
Yeah, like out of her sight. That's kind of crazy.
3 factors were found to suppress the incidents: when Tina was asleep, deliberate attempts to stimulate psychokinesis, and rolling video cameras.
Yeah. I'm surprised our video camera's capturing us. We're pretty ghosty over here.
Ooh.
Psychological testing did reveal signs of a neglected and abusive past and emotional reactions typical of a much younger child, but no actual psychosis. Further psychokinesis testing in July 1985 was also found to be negative. I don't know, man. I don't know. What's the difference between psychokinesis and like telekinesis?
I think it's just I could be totally wrong, but I believe it's just, isn't that not the same thing?
It sounds like the same thing.
Telekinesis.
Lifting objects with your mind. Psychokinesis.
If anyone knows,
with your mind.
Please tell us.
Yeah, put it in the comments.
Neurologists' tests revealed a brainstem anomaly and resulted in a diagnosis of Tourette's syndrome, which Roll hypothesized manifested physically or psychically as RSPK.
Yeah. Following research by Michael Persinger, Roll also linked the disturbances to a magnetic storm that had swept through the Earth's atmosphere during March 1st through March 3rd of 1984.
Based on research by Hal Puthoff and William Jones, he further speculated that RSPK is powered by zero-point energy. And zero-point energy is the lowest possible energy level or ground state in a quantized electromagnetic field. In this case, harnessed by Tina's subconscious mind.
This is something where I might, vary from some people on. Yeah, go a little more into the woo-woo, as people will say. But like, I do believe that zero-point energy, because Hal Puthoff and William Joins,
yes.
They speculated that zero-point energy has something to do with it. That's key point to point out that it's speculation. But I do believe that there is something to be said that is significant about zero-point energy. Like there's theories of technology that exists that the general public isn't aware of, like secret military tech that is capable of harnessing energy out of thin air, out of nothingness. Like you don't need an energy source because it's there. It's all around us, but you can harness it from that. And that might lead into the RSPK association, where you're harnessing the energy. Like you have some sort of mental ability to harness the energy from around us and use that to move objects.
You know, the thing is, in all of these cases, they're typically a younger person. Do you think that...
She wasn't that young.
Well, she was like 4. I'm talking about like a teenager.
Yeah.
In all these cases, there seem to be around someone who's younger, like in their teenage years.
Yeah.
Do you think that at a certain point, maybe we're not able to, you know, use that or
like tune in with that? I don't know. I think there is something to be said for that, for sure. I just don't know like what the age cutoff would be or why the age cutoff. What's the significance of that age cutoff? Like, other than the conspiracy theory that, you know, fluoride is calcifying your pineal gland, and the longer that you're consuming fluoride, the further the damage is done. So the older you get, the more you spend in your life consuming this fluoride. Conspiracy theory rant here. But, you know, the more you're consuming this fluoride, the more it's building up and damaging your ability. Apparently, a lot of the psychic energy and tuning in with these entities and vibrational forces around us has to do with linking the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of your brain, and the pineal gland is involved in that process as well. So I don't know. That's just some crazy conspiracy theory speculation on my part here. But I don't think it's unlikely that she did possess some sort of powers that she was subconsciously, like, or not unconsciously, but subconsciously interacting with things around her without realizing she's doing it.
Well, that's why, like, when I was researching this, I went back to my case when I discovered that poltergeist activity, and I was like, wait a minute, like, you talk about a troubled past or like something that happened to you and these events that happen. I mean, I had a lot of stuff going on when I was younger. I was young at the time when it happened, and when I was older and I went back to the same place, nothing happened. So that's why maybe it is some sort of something we're tapping into subconsciously.
Yeah. And we just lose the skill, or if we don't harness it or practice it or hone it, further develop it, then we completely lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting theory. I think anybody who has anything to share about their opinion on the potentiality of tapping into unseen forces yourself psychically, telepathically, or something like that, share it with us. If you have any experiences similar, share it with us in the comments below.
Yeah.
So then, carrying on, we have the national media attention catching the eye of the Committee for Scientific Investigation of Claims of the Paranormal, or CSICOP.
Yeah.
I said that pretty fast.
You did. Magician James Randi, known for doubting paranormal claims, checked out the case on March 13th, 1984, with 2 other investigators, reporters, and TV crews.
Randi offered $10,000 if they could show real, unexplained stuff happening, but they would not let him inside.
That's interesting. Later, Randi criticized the photos at a conference, saying they were likely faked.
And a magazine called Skeptical Inquirer said the weird stuff was probably just a teenager trying to get attention.
Randi didn't buy it, questioning the evidence and how Tina was involved.
The guy running the investigation, William Roll, disagreed. He said Randi missed some important points and got some facts wrong.
And Roll said Randi didn't talk to everyone. He didn't talk to people who witnessed things, and he made wrong assumptions about Tina's actions, so he said.
Yeah, well, there's so many areas where people can speculate about this, especially with the lamp.
You can literally show someone existence of something paranormal, and there's always going to be someone that says, nice try.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, this guy's dead. Look at him. He's in the casket. Yeah, right.
Well, he's not breathing. He's not moving. Look at that.
Yeah, but I saw him. We didn't even know where he went afterwards.
His eyelash moved. I saw it. So, tragically, Tina attempted to end her life at the age of 15 after revealing she had been sexually abused by an older brother. She
married at 16, but escaped from an abusive relationship within a year. Tina gave birth to her daughter, Amber, on September 29th, 1988.
Sounds like she was young. Tragically, on April 14th, 1992, 3-year-old Amber died while under the care of Tina's boyfriend, David Heron. Despite having a strong alibi, Tina was charged with Amber's murder and spent 2.5 years in jail awaiting trial.
What?
That's a long time to await trial.
Especially if you have an alibi?
Yeah. That doesn't sound just.
I mean, her lawyer advised her to choose an Alfred plea, which in the state of Georgia, which they lived, allowed a defendant to accept punishment without admitting guilt. And she would otherwise be convicted and sentenced to death.
Tina did accept this option. She was on medication, and her friends, including Roll, were not allowed to attend the hearing. The case having received abundant media publicity, Tina's chances may have well been doomed from the start. The sheriff and prosecutor used her case to further their own re-election prospects, and she remains imprisoned to this day, despite the efforts of supporters.
Now, there's a newer documentary on Hulu called Demons and Saviors discussing this case, but I have yet to watch it. When I was researching this, I just learned of this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was surprising.
You gonna check that out?
Definitely. Yeah, I got Hulu. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna check that out too. Anyway, with all of that being said, the exploration continues, and we cannot wait to have you back for more revelations.
Remember, your questions and theories fuel our discussions, so please keep them coming.
Tune in to episode 2 tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, check out Nick's previous video where he goes into much more detail about poltergeist activity itself and even shares his own compelling video evidence. I liked the video.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Stay curious and keep seeking the truth.
Thank you for being a part of Beyond the Hub family. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And once again, this is Beyond the Hub podcast, where the realms of the paranormal and conspiracies collide. And the truth is waiting to be unveiled. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.